All right, fam, let's start. This is how the palette looks in its brand new glory. I love all the reflexes, the duochrome on the packaging. And here are the shades that look so beautiful. Ugh, I just really like the palette, but we're gonna get into it. All right, let's start with some swatches. We're gonna start off with AI, metadata, virtual, electrode, cyberspace, gadget, call IT, not a bot, static, Y3K, overdrive, and bite. Look how beautiful these shades are. There's a couple of them that are dual chromes and others that are reflect shades. There's metallic, there's shimmer, there's glitter shades in this palette. We're gonna start off with priming the lid with this Bare Minerals concealer, blending it out and blending it again with the warmth of our finger. We're gonna start off with the shade Virtual, which is a peach matte shade, and we're just gonna buff it all over the lid, concentrating it right on the crease. I'm doing tapping motions. I'm kind of heavy-handed, so don't mind me, but and then going back and forth. Now we're gonna go with Gadget, which is a matte light pink shade, and we're just gonna go over top of Virtual so we can have a nice gradient going. Using the shade Bite, which is the matte terracotta, dark terracotta orange shade, we're gonna start creating a smoked out wing, kind of thick, nothing too structured, just to give us a little bit of depth. And then I'm using this packing brush from Real Techniques to really pack that color on so it can look nice and dark. And just packing it back and forth. Don't be so rough. Look how rough I am. Oh my God. And we're going from the beginning to the end of the eye, creating a little wing. Now we're gonna clean up the little space that's left on the lid with a little bit of concealer, blending it out with a brush that came with the palette. Now going in with the shade Cyberspace, which has a dual chrome finish to it. We're gonna hit it right over the crease and just really build it on there. It's such a beautiful shade and it melted on the lid like butter. Now we're gonna go back, reinforcing our steps with our wing and then our crease shade. Full face and everything. I realized I needed more depth, so we're just gonna go in with a very thin liner. We're using this brown liner from Fenty, and you can make it as thick or as thin as possible. I wanted it to be thin since we already have a wing there, you know? Going in with this Urban Decay eyeliner, we're gonna hit the waterline, really get it in there. Going back in with Bite and buffing the lower lash line out with the same packing brush we used. And getting a smaller brush, we're gonna get the little spaces between the under eye, the lash line, and the lower lash line, and then buffing it out with the first small fluffy brush we used. Using the shade Metadata, it's a beautiful champagne cream shade. We're gonna hit it right in the inner corner. And guys, this is look number one. No lie, I wasn't really feeling it until later. I was looking at the footage. I'm like, oh wait, it looks really nice. Super simple look that just came together seamlessly. And yeah, I really like the orange. It pops very well. It's very pigmented. So yeah, this is look number one. Oh my God, let's move on to look numero dos. Starting off with priming the lids. Once again, I always prime my lids. So I like to get that even base. We're gonna start off again with Virtual, which is the light peach shade, and just tapping it with this fluffy brush. We're setting the concealer we placed all over. I do have oily lids, so I like to really set things down, especially when I know I'm gonna be wearing the look all day, you know? Getting this small brush, going in with Bite, and just hitting it and concentrating it where the crease is, kind of pushing the product in there so it stays there and it's not buffed out. Really building that bad boy up. With this fluffy brush from MAC, we're going in with Gadget, which is a light pink shade, and just buffing it out so it doesn't look too harsh. Back in with Bite, just reinforcing our steps. Using the shade Virtual, which is the shade we started off with, we're gonna hit it right where the lid is and just kind of lighten that area up a little bit. Going in with my Huda Beauty eyeliner. This is the thinnest liner ever. We're just gonna create your regular wing, but we're gonna create it a little bit thicker than the usual. Especially because I don't wear lashes. I'm allergic to lash glue. I keep my liners thin, but not today. We got a little thicker. Going in with Static, putting a little chunk on my hand because it is a glitter shade, wetting it with some setting spray, getting this eyeliner brush from MAC. We're gonna start creating another line on top of it. Since we already have the black liner, we're just gonna create a shimmer liner. And you see how much of the blue the black is bringing out of Static. Because it is a glitter topper, I wanted to wet it first so it glides like an eyeliner as opposed to it going loose on the eye. Going in with this cream liner from LA Girl, we're gonna hit it on the waterline. Really get that waterline nice and bright because I wanted to keep it super simple. Back in with Bite and hitting it at the edge of the eye, keeping it super close and keeping it light, not making the lower lash line too dark, just a little wash of the shade. Using the shade Not a Bot, we're gonna hit it in the inner corner and move it up a little bit. You see where the crease is? So it just is nice and blended and it gives the look a little pop. You know what I mean? All right, full face and everything, guys. This is look number 2. I actually wore this look all day on my birthday and I absolutely love how pretty it looked. It looks super glam without really trying too hard. You guys know I love me an eyeliner. I always do an eyeliner and it just came out so pretty. I love the shade Static because it just brings the look together along with the terracotta shade. Honestly, it took me forever to match a lip. So the lip colors I'm wearing is going to be in the description box because it was kind of hard, no lie. And yeah, let's move on to look numero 3. All right, guys, starting off with a wet lid, we're going to set it with this Urban Decay setting powder, making sure we're nice and set down. Using the shade Virtual once again, we are hitting it right on the crease with this fluffy brush, really building it by tapping it in. Doing tapping motions will really build the product a lot quicker and it's a lot gentler on the eye. Going in with some setting spray, going back in with my eyeliner brush, and use Bite to create essentially a liquid liner to create the graphic liner we're gonna do. I'm looking straight so I can see exactly where my crease is. You wanna go a tad bit above your crease. So when you fold and blink, when your eyes fold and blink, it won't disappear. And now I'm just literally following the shape of my eye, as well as the wing. The wing part right there is going to meet exactly where my crease is, the line I drew on the crease. And again, I'm just following exactly how the eye is shaped. This is so pigmented, I didn't have to go back in too many times to really just get this the one try. And now I'm just gonna create the wing going all the way to the inner corner. Both eyes are on. We're gonna go with Electrode and we're gonna hit it with our finger to get the most pigment on that empty space we have. And then I wet my brush because we needed even more pigment. This is like a subtle orange shimmer. It's nice and subtle, but it gives you a little hint. Full face and everything, we are going in with the shade Cyberspace. Ooh, hitting it in the inner corner. This is one of the duo chrome shades and I just love how it gave a nice pop, but not too bright. You know, it's just enough. Back in with my LA Girl Bright Liner, hitting the waterline. Lately, I've been liking a just clean waterline, nothing too much under there, you know? And that's it. We just put the eyeliner. And this is look number 3. I love liners, you guys know, but this graphic liner, I really wanted to showcase how the shade Bite works if you wet it a little bit. Keep in mind, if you do wet the shade on the pan, it will harden the shade. So I would suggest to maybe scrape a little bit off, put it on that paddle I used, and then you could spray it there and it'll be fine. But yeah, guys, this is look number 3. Absolutely love how simple and chic it looks. And yeah, let's move on to look numero 4. Starting off with Gadget, our favorite pink shade. We're hitting it right over the crease. Not the crease. Yeah, the crease. My bad. Really building it up. I really like how subtle the pink is, but you can still see it. It's still giving us that oomph. Back in with Bite. We're going to hit it at the end of the eye, doing tapping motions, of course, getting the full pigment. And while I was doing this, I'm not going over the crease. You see how I'm staying below the crease? I don't want the eyeshadow to get out of control because this part, when we're blending, it will bring it up a little bit. Back in, and then we're just winging it out a little bit, not too much. And then I wasn't liking how it looked, but we're gonna fix it. Back in, buffing those edges out. You see, while we buff, it kind of goes up a little. Using the shade Y3K, we're gonna hit it with a small packing brush and tap it all over that space we have on the lid. We're gonna build it up as much as possible. Look how pretty the shade is, like what the heck. Okay, back in with Bright, just blending those edges out together so they mesh. Then I felt like I needed something else. So we're going with Override and hitting it right in the middle of Bite and Y3K so we have a good gradient going. Then getting it with my finger, back in with Bite, blending in those edges per the usual. And you guys know we always reinforce our steps. Getting this makeup wipe and cleaning that edge, which is what I didn't like. So I'm just cleaning it up. And this is how you do it if you're doing your eyes after and your base is already done. You can just concealer it up and set it. All right, now we're going with NARS eyeliner. Again, we're creating a very tiny, tiny wing. You can do it as thick or as thin. I don't wear lashes like I told you guys, so I don't like my liners to eat up my little lashes that I have. All right, using our L'Oreal Let liner in Denim Brown, we're hitting it in the lower lash line, and then we're gonna tight line so we get that depth and that brown in the eyes. Using this MAC 228S brush and using the shade Bite, we're going to buff out the lower lash line. Keep it super, super close so like the brown liner mixes in well. And with this flat brush, we're gonna get those spaces between the lower lash line and the waterline, so we don't have those gaps. Wetting our brush and using the shade Static, hitting it in the inner corner, getting that blue going. Oh, look how pretty. Look, we needed that pop. That pop to complete the look, bomb. So guys, this is look number 4. Oh, so pretty. I wasn't liking how it was turning out, but you know, we have to trust the process. I love how every shade just blended in so well. This is the look that I used the most shades at one time, and look, it just looked so seamlessly blended. No, I didn't even have to put that much elbow grease, you know? So yeah, guys, I love this look. Okay, let's move on to the last and final one. All right, fam, I wasn't sure what I was doing here. Per the usual, going in with Gadget, the light pink shade, again, buffing it out right on the crease, tapping the shade in, setting that concealer base we have, going in with Bite. Now just tapping it at the end of the eye, but keeping it very close to the crease and the end of the eye. You see, I'm not bringing it over, I'm just keeping it in that little section of the eye. Back in with our first brush, blending those two together so they mesh. Using my concealer from Makeup Forever, cleaning up that lid space. Nothing too sharp. Back in, just getting those harsh lines. Back in with Bite. Again, so we have that blended look. Using cyberspace, hitting it with the finger. You guys know the finger will give you great pigment. And we're hitting it all over that wet base. You see that reflect? Look at that, you see? Going back in with our matte shades, just reinforcing our steps. Make sure nothing's looking too harsh or we don't have any spots, which we didn't. Going back in, reinforcing our steps per the usual, using Bite and also using Gadget, just so we don't have any missing spots or anything. Using our small MAC brush, we're gonna start tapping along the lash line and really building it up so we can get a little bit of depth. I feel like the eyes look really naked if there isn't something there. Not necessarily a wing, but you know, a little bit of depth really helps the eyes pop. Talking about depth. We're gonna go in with the CoverGirl eyeliner and again, create a tiny, tiny wing. You see the difference it does? It's a subtle difference, but it just does enough. Okay, back in with our brown eyeliner hitting the lower lash line. Tight lining also gives the eyes a good amount of depth too. Using not a bot, girl, we're hitting that inner corner. It just brightened up this look. Ugh, I just loved it. Back in with Bite and just hitting the lower lash line. This time we're keeping it really close with the brown eyeliner because it kind of mixed. The terracotta shade and brown kind of give us a little mix of both of the shades. All right, fam, this is it. This is look numero 5. I absolutely love how it looks. It looks super chic, but simple. It's nicely blended, and honestly, simplicity is what I like. I really like how easy it just came together. And yeah, guys, this is it for now. I do have an outro. We talk all about the palette, so please don't leave, and I'll see you in the outro. Hey, so this is it. This is the 5th and final look using the brand new Urban Decay Naked CYBER palette. When I first saw the palette, I was like, I wasn't sure about it. I felt like the shades, I don't know, were gonna be too light. My first impressions, I was like lukewarm about it. But the more and more I play with this palette, I literally fell in freaking love. The shimmers are all so beautiful, and a bunch of them, especially like these over here, are all have reflexes of different shades, and I absolutely love that. You guys saw when I did look number 2, I did the black liner and I went over top with static, and it really pulled the blue shade. So a lot of reflex shades do that. If you put a color base, it could be black, it could be blue, purple, it'll really pull those shades out. So I really like that about reflexes. Even by itself, you see the reflect, it's very clear and it's very vivid. So I really like that about these shades. Of course, the mattes are super pigmented. There's only a few mattes. It's like the ones I kept using. This one, and this one. But I really liked how well they worked. I felt like with these shades at the beginning, they were too light. But the more you use it and the more you kind of get rid of that first layer of the eyeshadow, you really get that pigment going. So I really appreciate that. Usually naked palettes, you don't have to really dig in it to get the colors going, but this one you do have to because these shades are very light. We really need to give it a little to get that pigment going. I just only found that with these two right here, the lighter matte shades, but all the other shades work so beautifully. I did not have a lot of fallout. They don't show a lot of texture on the eye. I have very textured lids, and a lot of times I do avoid shimmery eyeshadows because it does pull that texture out a little bit, but these shades did not. Usually naked palettes are really so bomb. Like I never have any issues with it. I just really like this color scheme because it's very different. There's nothing out in the market that kind of looks like this. At first you're looking like, what the heck am I gonna do with it? Because that's what I really felt on that first look. I really wasn't feeling it at all. But then I'm like, you know what? We have to give it a chance. You guys know I always do 5 looks using a palette just to give you a true review and let you guys know how it worked out throughout the days I used it, the longevity, the pigment, and most importantly, give you different options if you guys get this palette and you don't know what to do with it. I always want my videos to be helpful to you. Even if you don't get a palette like this, just the style can help you. You can use shades you already have in your collection and create a look. I always just want my videos to be very helpful and just easy to navigate. This palette is so freaking good. I'm really happy I was able to create all the looks, and honestly I liked all the looks. The only look I didn't really like was look number 1, but now looking back at it, I'm like, no, it looks nice. It was just me feeling a certain type of way about the palette, you know? The only thing I feel that this palette is missing is maybe a brown or a darker nude shade to complement more skin tones, and I feel like to have a better transition shade. Although these worked really well, something that's a little bit darker I think would have helped the palette a lot more. Although it's not a bad palette, like I told you guys, it was a very surprising palette how well it worked and how well you were able to transition the shades, especially the matte shades really blended in well with one another. But you know, a girl always can use a nude or brown shade, you know? It's currently available at Urban Decay's website, and shout out to Urban Decay because they were kind enough to send this over in PR. So I'm really happy I got it, and it will be in stores I believe sometime sometime in October. I'll put here a screenshot of what they posted on their Instagram when the palettes will be available in Sephora, Macy's, and Ulta, but currently I know it is available online only. But this is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed all of these looks. And oh, by the way, the longevity of these shadows is bomb because I wore a couple of the looks all night long. I didn't have any issues with longevity. Also, I felt like concealer worked a little bit better versus eye primer. The shades will really pop, and I feel like the mattes really grab on to the concealer very well. This is bomb. I absolutely love it. I recommend it, and I love naked palettes. You guys know my first video I used a naked palette, and yeah, Urban Decay is always going to be close to my heart. Let me know which one is your favorite look. I love them all. I felt like they all look very different, and I really like that because a lot of times I feel like the palette inspires you to create different looks, and there's some palettes that you just feel like you can kind of just do the same thing over and over, you know what I mean? But yeah, this is it, guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me and spending a little bit of your day with me. I love you guys so much. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, click the button right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!